right, let's begin. So if you quickly just introduce yourself, kind of who you are and how you started, and what sort of videos were you doing back in the day, like 10 years ago?
Yeah, let's do it. I'll sum it up real quick. So my name's Devin, and I have a Instagram and YouTube called Just Approach, where no overthinking, just go up and do it, right? Because a lot of guys are so in their head, me included. I started doing prank videos and social experiments where I just go up and use kind of pickup lines, and it was more shock value, right? So, oh, you could pick up a girl by telling her that you have a small wiener, right? And I would do stuff like that where it was really
Yeah.
like playful, but it's also like emphasizing that what you say doesn't matter nearly as much as how you say it. And then I kind of got tired of doing the prank videos and social experiments because I was relying too much on reactions, and I didn't like not being in control of that. And I'd spent so long filming. So then I should have started the coaching stuff sooner, because people kept commenting like, how do you have the balls to do that? How do you have the courage to go up and talk to people? How do you do that? So comments like those would go on and on for years, but I
Mm.
still kept doing prank videos just because I was so adamant about it. But then it's like, you know what? Like, there's something here. I would rather coach guys and help guys like where I used to be get out of their comfort zone and actually do it, you know?
This is the thing with these prank videos is that the same with me, bro. Like I started when I was like 20 and I started doing
Hmm.
pranks, social experiments and that kind of stuff. And people were asking me like, how do you get these girls and all of this sort of stuff? I never really did coaching until the last like 3 months or so. And obviously nowadays I make travel videos and I always have like a beautiful girl, with me in the video. And that's why I've been getting all these questions like, how do you do this? And
Mm.
can you help me?
But I'm interested to hear more about how you got into this. Like, you said that you started doing prank videos when you were 20, but did you always have that confidence just to go out and talk to people? Were you that guy in high school?
Do you know what it is? Like I actually grew up a virgin until I was like 20.
Oh, me too.
So I, yeah.
Late bloomers.
Because I was very religious and everything. So I had like a completely different lifestyle. And at 20 years old, I just got kind of pissed off with it. And I was like, I have to get myself out there. So I saw this video on YouTube. I think it was like Simple Pickup or something. It was like 3 or 4 guys, right? It was an Asian guy and some, and they were doing it. So I was like, fuck, like if these guys can do it, then I can definitely fucking do this shit.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
started going out and kind of making prank videos and all of that stuff. By that time, I was already like in shape because I started
Hmm.
working out at like 14. So I didn't really have issues with like being confident. And yeah, then it just took off.
Hmm.
Yeah, it just took off. I did it for about a year and then I stopped because I had to go back to uni and stuff. And I kind of quit on that. Like, I think if I made more money from it, then I would have continued on. But
Hmm.
because I didn't really make much money from the actual videos, I was like, no, this is not the future. I didn't really see it. I think if I had someone else to tell me, hey, like this could really blow up and you can make a lot of money from this, then I would have continued. I became a naked butler as well at 20. So I kind of got into like the stripper kind of side of things,
What,
kind
what
of
did
the
you call
game.
it? A naked what?
Naked butler.
A naked butt.
So
I've never heard that term. That's hilarious.
so my friend was basically looking at a few jobs for me. And he was like, bro, you would be literally the perfect fit for this job. So I started naked buttering for like a year. And what that job showed me about the female, nature and how they behave was absolutely crazy, bro.
Hmm.
Like I would literally have parties with like 20 girls, 10 parties, and I walk into, some mansion, somewhere in the UK, and I would literally see like so many chicks that are married, like jumping on me, bro, making out.
Hmm.
But that showed me a lot, kind of how females behave, and also like really helped me with my confidence, bro, to be able
Hmm.
to talk to like 20 chicks at the same time, entertain
Hmm.
them and do like fucking body shots and games and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was fun, but now I don't see myself doing that anymore. I mean, I'm too old for that sort of stuff. But
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah,
So there were some valuable lessons that you learned too. And
a lot of valuable lessons.
yeah, the truth. You get to see the truth, right? You get to see it all
Um,
go down in front of your very own two eyes.
yeah. How old are you, bro, by the way?
33.
33. Okay, so a
Yeah.
little bit older than me. You look younger than me though, bro. I think
Guess it's
you
just
look
the moisturizer. How old are you?
maybe the beard. I'm 30.
30. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
30.
Yeah, that's the age too where the average person is getting married. I found, and I saw too. Average, I think it was 30 and 31, where men
Right.
and women get married, right?
Mhm.
And stock is going up, right? And a lot of
Yeah.
guys don't realize their own worth, right? So
Yeah.
it's important that it's like you find the right girl for you,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
I
So
feel like for me, bro, like I want to wait until I'm like, I don't know, like late 30s maybe until I settle down. Unless I find someone that I'm like very compatible with and they kind of
mm,
understand where I'm going and stuff, then maybe. But for now, yeah.
I think it's just so important to know what exactly you're looking for, right? Because a lot of guys, they just don't really know. They're not really clear. And they, I think the biggest detriment what I had before was being in this scarcity mindset where it's like, yeah, the first girl that gives you attention, you know, you're looking past all these red flags, and it's like, man, you got to be, you got to know first of all what you want, and then second, it's like, okay, if you got to be willing to know what you are not going to tolerate,
Yeah, 100%.
you know.
This is the problem, bro, with a lot of the guys, man. It's just like they have no options, so they go for whatever they can get.
Mm,
But you have to get yourself to the point where you're the one that picks. I still feel like the female is like ultimately going to choose you, but you want to have options, you know?
mm,
So you actually
mm.
have a couple of options that are willing to fucking choose you,
Yeah.
you know? Super important, super
Mhm.
important. And it changes the whole dynamic as well,
Hmm.
for sure.
100%. 100% it does. It changes how you show up to the interaction, how you carry yourself, and it definitely bleeds over into every other aspect of your life, whether that's your career, whether that's your personal
Mhm.
relationships, everything, right? The scarcity
Mhm.
mindset bleeds over. So for a lot of guys, because I had the scarcity mindset for a while, for a lot of guys that are watching this right now, if they do have that scarcity mindset, they're wondering, how do I get options? How do I kind of put myself out there? What would you kind of suggest or recommend that they do?
Well, number one thing is start dating more women.
Mm,
Start dating more women. Start speaking to more women that you're interested in, and don't put her on the pedestal straight off the bat. Like,
mm,
if you're dating five really hot girls, do you really think you have a scarcity mindset? You know, you
mm,
won't. So the problem, you know, sort of lies there. You know, move to a place where you actually have hot girls in the first place. If you live somewhere like England in some small little town, you have no options by default because you haven't
mm,
actually moved to the place where you can actually game. So this is
mm,
the whole problem with these guys. Is like they say to me, "Oh, I live in this small town, you know, somewhere in England." I'm like, "How do I get laid?" I said,
mm,
"Bro, you don't get laid. Like, how are you gonna do it? It's like you
mm,
can't. So you have to go somewhere where the hot girls are. That's
mm,
number one, and then actually start, you know, getting yourself out there and talking
mm.
to a lot of women. That's how you're gonna get that, you know, that
Yeah.
abundance mindset."
You know, it's interesting because I'm from a small town too, and I would drive. Well, actually, I didn't even have a car at the time, so I would
Right.
bus into the nearest biggest city, which was Toronto, and it took me an hour and a half to bus there. But the reason
Mm.
was because there was so much volume, and I could practice
Course.
putting.
Yeah, you need that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because if you're just walking around like a chicken with your head cut off, the local mall or the cafe, right, and then you see a cute girl every hour, right? It's it's like you're not
How
going
are
to
you
get a
gonna
lot of
learn?
experience at bats there.
Yeah, I'm from a small town as well, bro.
Are you?
I grew up in a town that was like 4,000 people town.
Oh wow.
But I didn't obviously think of game at that point. I left that town when I was like 12, so I was still too young to be
Mm.
thinking of that sort of shit.
Yeah.
And then I grew up in a fairly small town in England, so it's not too big.
Mm.
But the options were pretty good there, to be honest. 10 years ago, England was very good, bro. Now it's
Mm.
just really fallen, really, really
Mm.
fallen. All the hot girls left. Like it's horrible. I think UK in general is just becoming very dangerous.
Mm.
Yeah.
So a lot, and we were kind of briefly talking about this offline, but a lot of people they have that
Mm.
mentality of, oh, should I go to Colombia? Should I go to South America? I heard it's dangerous, and it's just this out. They watch the news or they hear somebody say something, and then that just gets in their brain, and it's like, okay. So there's kind of two ways to take this because there's some guys that think that the magic pill is just to hop on a plane and go to Colombia. right? And then
Mhm.
guys that aren't having luck in the States, Canada, wherever they're at.
Oh, the worst mindset ever. The
Hmm.
worst mindset ever. Because game in places like, I've not been to Canada, but I've dated a lot of Canadian girls. But game in America, the UK, and Australia, it's easy mode. Easy mode, I would say, compared to a place like Brazil or Colombia, because you have to understand these countries, they don't have a hookup culture. So whenever guys say like, oh, it's so hard to get laid in my own country. If you're not getting laid in America, then what makes you think that you'll get laid here? All you're
Hmm.
gonna get is you're going to get higher quality women, looks wise, but they're not going to be necessarily easier per se.
You mean they're
And
not going
that's
to
a
be
very
good?
controversial take, but
Hmm. That's interesting because I haven't heard a lot of guys like explain it like that because
mm,
I get this questions from guys where they're just like, oh, are Western women cooked? Because they have this mindset where it's like, oh, I want to go to Colombia to find a more feminine woman. I don't like the masculine entitlement from
yeah.
women here. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's interesting. So you think it's harder in South America?
I would say that yes, they are more feminine for sure. I
Mm,
do find that. I think in Eastern Europe and South America, they're a lot more feminine, but I wouldn't say they're easier per se.
mm,
I
okay.
wouldn't say that.
So
Especially if you're looking for the highest quality women, not just,
right. Okay. So
some.
if there's a guy right now who's maybe struggling with women in particular, right? He can hold a conversation with some guys. He's pretty social, but he gets a little more in his head with women and he's not really going
Right.
on dates, not getting matches on the apps, and he has trouble kind of putting himself out there, right? And maybe gets friend zoned. What would you recommend that guy do? Would you recommend that he moves to a bigger city? Would you recommend that he goes and travels?
If the guy, let's say, goes to fucking Ukraine all of a sudden, he's not gonna get laid at
Mm,
all. Zero. Like, yes, you have a lot of beautiful women there, but that's for the guys that actually have game and actually got this shit going on and they can show something, if I can
mm,
display some sort of value. So for that guy, I would say stay where you are, stay in a big city and practice. Because like, I don't know, how is Canada for game? Because I mean I've dated a lot of these girls, but I've never been to Canada, so I don't know.
mm. Yeah, so Toronto, that I'm closer to Toronto. Toronto's great. It's very multicultural, so you can get every different flavor, right?
Right,
But the only problem is that 6 months out of the year, it's cold.
right.
So I don't mind walking around outside, but a lot of women don't come out in the cold.
Yeah.
Yes, they'll be outside.
Mhm.
Yes, like I don't like to make excuses. If you're living in Toronto or if you're living in a colder place in Canada, sure you can still make it happen, but there's just a little more, I guess, unreceptivity, right? People are cold, they're trying to move, you know.
Yeah. I get that a lot in London as well. The same shit.
Weather definitely affects the environment, but it's still not an excuse to make because I'll get oh, it's
No.
too cold outside to go on game. Well, you can still go to a club, still go to a mall, you can still go to a gym. Like it
Stay
doesn't change.
home.
Yeah, I'm
You
just
have to
gonna
stay
stay at
home.
home, tap my watch, and wait till the sun comes out for a sec. Like, no, you
Mm.
still have to put in the reps, regardless.
For me, it's like you have American game and you have international game.
Mm,
And these things are totally fucking different.
mm,
So what I mean by that is that like in America, you can literally, dress like a fucking clown and go out and just chat shit and you pull some gold because girls are just fucking easy. The UK is literally a place where it's probably the easiest place to get laid, honestly, because girls just don't really care. Like
mm.
some girls will just pull you home. And then when you go to a place like Poland, Ukraine, all of that kind of stuff, you have to be dressed in a certain way. And it's not going to work. Like you can't be dressed like a clown. That stuff does not work at all. Not sure if you kind of noticed that when you traveled a little bit, where you go to different countries and the culture is just so different,
Mm.
where the same game doesn't really work. Like you kind of have to adjust a little bit.
Yeah. It's interesting too because I remember going to Italy and in Spain, and one of the very first things I noticed is how women carried themselves, how they dressed. Like they looked like they were walking down a runway, in
Hmm.
terms of their jewelry. They're dressed like every girl is like dressed to the nines walking around. I'm curious in terms of that, like how did you find like adjusting your game? Like what did you have to do differently in like a Poland than you would in American, just in terms of like how you would dress and carry yourself?
Yeah, so Miami was like
Hmm.
super easy, I would say, actually. A lot of people were, I first thought that would be very difficult because everyone's got money. I went out there and I just saw, loads of Lamborghinis, loads of Bugattis, all of this sort of stuff. And I was thinking, well, surely these girls will only go with these guys that have a lot of money and status. That was not really the case because a lot of these guys were kind of boring. So if you could just provide some fun, and if you're just a very charismatic guy and you're just very sure of yourself, like I pulled this one girl from Canada. I talked to her literally for like maybe 5 minutes or so, and then I suggested drinks back at my place. It was like 12, I think, or something. So I drove both of her friends home, two of them, and then I took her back to mine for some drinks. And I was like, wow, like I've literally spent zero money, zero money. And a second ago, I pulled was like some chick from Chile, and I think I just bought her like a drink, which like cost like $10, I think, or something. Ben Brickle, literally. So
Mhm.
it's like it's not that expensive. Like everyone thinks like, oh, like if you go to Miami, you're gonna have to be spending $1,000 a night just to get laid, and it's like, bro, no, that's not the case. Whereas in Ukraine, it was like, oh my God, bro, you're gonna have to go on like so many dates, get to know the parents most likely or their friends and like the whole social circle. The girls are just not stupid. Like they're not, and that's not to insult the girls from UK or from Canada or from America, but like they don't have hookup culture. That's
Mm,
simply it. So the cultural difference is that the girls from Canada, they just want to have fun. And
mm,
there's nothing wrong with that. Whereas in Ukraine and stuff, like they're not really looking to have fun. They want to have a family, they want to have kids. And that's what I've noticed. So that's why I left Ukraine, bro, because I can't be
mm,
asked with this, bro. It's like, it's just like you have to stay there for so long and the girls want to date and, fucking get to know you and everything. And it's just too long. So I think like if you're looking for like a family and to actually settle down, then that's a perfect place. If you're looking
mm,
for that, but if you're just trying to have fun and stuff, it's like, bro, it's like
mm,
3 days minimum sometimes,
mm,
before you even do something.
mm. You know,
Yeah.
there's two things I kind of took from that because I had that same experience when I went to
Yeah.
Miami. People were telling me, "Oh, you're gonna have to buy bottle service at a club. You're gonna have to walk around. You're competing with these millionaires." I wore a friggin' shirt from. I did this on purpose. I wore a friggin' shirt from Walmart. Went out to went out to a club. I was underdressed just to see what would happen, and it doesn't
Amazing.
fucking matter. Like these guys that think they need all this money, that need all this clout, they need to drive it. Like I have guys come to me and they're like, should I rent a Lamborghini and rent a suit when I'm going on a first date with a girl? And it's like, no, you don't have to put up this front. The one thing you need, yeah, you need to package your suit. Like don't go out to the club in pajamas. But at the same time, it's like
Yeah.
you need those social skills, that charisma. You need to know how to lead and just have fun and not be in your head, right? And yeah, so that's the one thing. And the other thing that I kind of took away from that is I know there's going to be a lot of guys watching this that are thinking, oh yeah, like I don't want to hook up with these low quality, trashy girls. Like I'm looking to
And not
find.
low quality. I wouldn't say they're low quality. And they
Mm,
just want to have fun, bro. And it's like,
okay,
there's
I
nothing
see.
wrong with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really talk trash on these women because I love these women, bro. Like I had an
Mhm.
amazing experience with that girl. She was so beautiful as well. And this is the thing. It's like, these guys are like, oh, American women are really ugly. It's like, no, bro. There are really, really hot girls out there.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just different culture. That's what it
Mhm.
is.
Different
Like she liked
culture.
my accent and we went home and we had fun. And it is what it is. It's
Yeah.
like whatever.
Mhm.
So I don't have any like hatred towards these women. No way. Like I would love to go to a place like that. I
Mm.
think I will fucking kill it if I move to Canada.
Oh man, yeah, come
With the
on.
accent, bro.
With the
Amazing.
accent, it's game over. Yeah, you just say hi and boom,
Mm.
that's it. Do you
You need a
speak
bit of
Spanish?
patience. I speak a little bit of Spanish. Yeah, very
You do.
little. Very, like
Okay.
very, very little, bro. Yeah.
I love that vibe when you're trying to like understand each other, where it's
Mm.
like
Mm.
you're not really sure what each other's saying, but you're smiling and there's that vibe and there's that energy. Like the
Yeah.
other day, I went on a date with a girl who just moved to Toronto from Mexico, and she maybe speaks 2 words of English. My Spanish it doesn't exist. So I was trying to refrain on pulling out the Google Translate. That's what I was doing on dates in Colombia because I don't speak a lick.
Perfect.
But
Yeah.
that's what holds a lot of guys back is they think that if they're like traveling or maybe they just moved to a new country from somewhere else and they don't speak the language, that they're fucked and they have to like spend 6 months learning the language. Like, no, you can still
No.
make it happen. It's your vibe and your energy.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Like I did this in Bali as well with a lot of Russians. Like I would just literally just use body language and then just translate everything. It's so much easier actually because you don't even have to talk. You just go in there, smile a little bit, vibe, then translate, and then the girl's waiting for your fucking reply. So now she's like, "What the fuck is he gonna say?" And
He's
it's
like
just
kind
like
of
a game.
smiling, like staring at you, and then
Yeah.
there's that anticipation there. Yeah, that's a good point. Body
Okay,
language.
so let's go to the next point. What would you say is the best place for like game? Which sort of places for you would be the best?
So I actually really like Miami.
Right. Yeah.
I would say, and you have to know this is what I tell guys all the time is be intentional about this, right? Like I list out what exactly I look for when it comes to women, right? In terms of qualities, characteristics, looks, body types. I like Latinas. I get along well with Italians, Persians, right? So Latinas mostly. That's where I want to place myself. So Miami, Barcelona, going to like Tulum. Depends on what kind of girls that you're attracted to, and two, you'll notice patterns when you do this enough, where it's like certain girls are more drawn to you, whereas others you don't really vibe with, right? Certain ethnicities or traits, right? So know where to find that first. So yeah, like I said, Miami would be me, Barcelona. I do like parts of LA, but I find it's kind of hard to get around there. You definitely it's hard to get around LA. So I could honestly see myself living in Barcelona. And to add on to that point too, what I would recommend for guys is don't make the women first, right? Don't put them first.
Yeah.
Put the mission first and design your lifestyle around your purpose, your interests, and your goals, right? So with what we just said, right? We're both in shape, we're both very active. So ideally, right, living for me anyways, a place where there's a beach where you can run, you can go on, you can, do workouts by the beach, right? Do these interests, rock climbing, whatever it is that you're into. And then as you're doing those things, you're meeting women, you're talking to people, right? Because if you're just running around like a chicken with your head cut off, walking around hoping to find a girl, and it's just
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You have to have some hobbies and something that you're interested in so you can bring these girls into that as well.
Exactly.
So the girl is not like, oh, so why are you here? And you're like, oh, I'm just here for the girls.
The guy
like,
walking around Victoria's Secret pretending like he's shopping for pantyhose for his mom. Like,
yeah. Nah, that's why I really like Rio, Brazil. It's a beautiful place, bro. I think a lot of cities are getting destroyed by the pickup artists. And it's you really see it, bro. Like in Budapest 10 years ago was one of the best places for game. And now you have all these pickup companies, going in there, spam approaching the girls, destroying the whole city. Destroying the whole city. So now you go there and you have a good game, and no girl wants to fucking speak to you anymore because they've been through all this shit. Like already, they've been approached fucking 100 times. So there are places like this that just really get fucking destroyed. The same with Warsaw, bro. Like, Warsaw used to be good, and now it's like there's too many pickup guys there. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's easy to spot these guys too. And one thing that really drew me to your content was that you just seemed like you were being authentic, you were being natural, you weren't using these. And it's funny because I was reading some of your comments on one of your videos where you met a girl on the beach. This girl was like a rocket. I can't remember where. Maybe you were in like Mexico somewhere. I can't remember where it was. But anyways, I was reading the comments, and one guy's like, actually, no, what you want to do is at 1 minute 30 seconds, he should have pulled, he should have negged a little more. And he's like breaking it down. And to me, it was like, yeah, I was watching, I was like, this is just a natural conversation. She's obviously into him. But then you have these guys that are just like, nope. And yeah, like, did you ever
following the fucking script?
Exactly. Yeah. Did you ever have that phase where you were following a script or pickup lines or doing anything from, let's say, the game?
No, so I kind of got into the game through my friend. So I was doing the
Mm.
pranks and all of this kind of stuff. And then one guy that I've met in my hometown in England, he said to me, bro, like your game is pretty good. You should check out these guys. They teach you pickup and all of this sort of stuff. And I think he pointed out like RSD guys. So I had a look at it, and they were kind of more of a natural kind of approach, I would say. Um, but I read the book and everything, and I read, mystery and all this sort of stuff, and it's more like a script, isn't it? And I think for a lot of guys, I think that's good to start with.
I think having structure is so important, but with what you just said too, because I got into reading the game and all this stuff, and I felt like at one point I was just too in my head. I was like trying to remember, oh, what was I supposed to say again? And I'd watch these other guys steal some of their lines, and then next thing you know, it's just like I would say something, but it wouldn't feel authentic, right? So you can like I would say it's like if you're going to study this stuff, sure, pick a couple, like have fun with it. I think is the most important thing. Try different like icebreakers and stuff, but make it from like a natural place. What fits you, like you said, because there's
I
some
would say
lines.
like try everything, bro. Like, try different pickup lines if that works for you. I mean, for me, I never really like to use pickup lines unless I'm making a video or something like that.
Yeah.
But like if I'm just talking to the girls normally, like most of my game is boring, bro. It's like, oh hey, how are you? Like literally, like I'll just stare at them, hey. Like that's how I fucking open sometimes. It's like very boring, bro. But it's just like if the girl likes you and you have a good aura and she's attracted to the energy, that's so much more than what you like, fucking say, you know?
Once. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys underlook that. They're looking for the perfect line, the perfect thing to say, but they completely look past how it's being said. Right? Like you could
Yeah.
say, like even with hi, you could go up and say like hi, hey, hi. Right? Like there's so many different
There you
ways.
go. There you go, bro. Straight away. Yeah. Done.
Right. So
It's like
and,
that's
and, and
all
just
you need. That's all you need. It's literally how you feel inside of your body.
Yeah, I was talking
Yeah.
to someone recently, and they completely summed it up. Right, it's like women feel what you feel.
100%. And this is why guys drink and they rely on fucking alcohol because they get in state almost. So now they can be like have this fucking personality and everything, you know?
I think structure is important, but I also
Mhm.
think that going off of a script gets you way too in your head. So
Mhm.
if you're like pickup artist, I don't like the term because you're coming at it from the frame of like, okay, I have to go and pick her up, right? Like I'm just focused on the results, right? When
Yeah.
my whole thing now is I don't even know the girl, right? So why, like, I don't care how hot she is. I want to see, like, okay, who is this person, right? Like, are they going to be fun to talk to? Are they going to be cool? Do they have a sense of humor, right? So I go into it like, I'm not trying to convince her anything. I'm not trying to win her over. I'm trying to see if she convinces me if she's worthy of
Yeah.
my time, right? So that's the first thing. And if she's got a cool personality, then yeah, you can go and talk. You can go and see, okay, do we vibe? Do we have anything in common? And then keep going from there. But yeah, I think pickup is too like results focused, and it's going to put a lot of stress on the guys and put them in their head. So
Mhm.
an
Mhm.
element to take from it, right? Like I do like the DHV kind of aspect of it, like demonstration of higher value, telling these stories about yourself, but in a way where it just kind of naturally comes out as opposed to like listing off a resume and trying to
Yeah.
impress her, trying to win her over. But yeah, like watch a video and then go out and apply something that you learn from that. Because if you're just marathoning 100 videos in a row, you're going to be way too in your head. You're going to be trying to remember things, and it's just not going to work well, right? So go out with a goal, be intentful about it. Like let's say you want to just practice opening. You go up to 10 girls and open there, right? Boom, 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 boom,
What are
boom.
some of the best openers
Mm.
for the guys?
So I always say it's like I know guys love this question, but hey, I don't think we've met yet. What's your name? Right? That's one. That's one that you could use that really anywhere. And
Yeah, I like
then
that.
and then two is you could just say like, hey, you caught my eye. Right? What are you up
Mhm.
to? What are you
Yeah.
doing? And my personal style, and I know some guys, they're in their head, they're not as witty, they're not able to improv as well. I like just commenting on my situations, or literally like Joe Rogan in the UFC, right? You comment on something the girl's doing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
headphones. You look like you're listening to some Slipknot. You look really, pumped up, right? Whatever you just comment on
Yeah.
what the girl's doing, you know?
Do you
What
ever
about
go
you?
very direct, like where you just go in and super direct, like almost like, whoa, this could not work and this could fucking go sideways
Yeah,
because
it's
you're very
also
bold, you know?
true, and it depends. It depends to me, like where you meet the girl. Like I wouldn't use that approach on a girl
Oh,
that
for sure.
goes to
Yeah.
the gym like that I normally go to.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it depends where you meet the girl, right?
Yeah, of course. And this is the thing as well. It's like you have to kind of use the right approach in the right environment. What would you say is the best way to get good at game quick? For me, it was a 30-day challenge. I did a 30-day challenge when I was 20 years old.
Wow.
I literally went out every single night. Every single night, I went out for at least 30 minutes.
Mm,
And even when my friends didn't want to go with me, I'll go solo. And I've forced
mm,
myself to go. And by the end of the 30 days, I was a killer, bro. It was
wow.
like no fear, nothing, just going in. And yeah, it was crazy. And a
I
lot of
love
good stories as well.
I love that approach of throwing
Mm,
yourself in the deep end and going out when you told yourself you're going to do it, right? Doesn't matter if your
yeah,
friend bailed on
yeah,
you, you're still going to show up and you're going to be
yeah.
fucking terrified. Great, but you're going to build resilience. You're going to build that self-confidence and
Mm.
self-respect by going out and doing something that you say you're going to do repeatedly no matter what happens, right? So yeah, like there's no way around the hard work. You're going to have to stop playing it safe, put yourself out there and just not care as much, right? You're going to have to get rejected, but you just have to do it, right? So if you're just getting into game, I would recommend first just working on talking to everybody. That's step one, right? Normalize socializing from the second you leave the house, men or women. Second is drill the openers, right? Get good at starting conversations with women in particular, right?
Mhm.
With everybody, but drill that. And then how do I carry the conversation? How do I make it more flirty and playful, right? And then work on closing and then work on one of these things at a time. But I love that 30-day challenge, right? Maybe it's the first week you're just starting conversations. The next week you're carrying those
Yeah,
conversations. You need
yeah,
volume. Volume is the name of the game, right? So fix
yeah,
the apps, get some good pictures that represent who you are.
yeah.
Instagram works as your recovery, and it also works to really boost your status. It's your wingman. Like let's say you're out in public, right? You meet a girl and you're not as smooth as you would like. Maybe you're a little in your head. You got her Instagram, and then she sees those shots working for you, right? Then that increases your value.
Yes.
Cold approach to optimize that, right? You're talking to people going about your day. You're not missing opportunities. You're talking to the girl at the gym, at the cafe, walking down the street. I don't care how busy you are. You can definitely still incorporate that into your routine and make sure that you're placing yourself in these environments at optimal times, right? So know where your target demographic is, your age range, right? Where is she going to be? She's probably not going to be at the grocery store at 1 p.m., right? So she's probably going to 5:30, go where they're going to go. And then also do shit that you like to do, hobbies, interests, place yourself in those environments, do the things that you're curious about that light you up where you know your ideal girl is going to be, right? Get more exposure, get more at bats, and then analyze too. Right when you put in those approaches, go home. What could I have improved? What did I do well? How did I feel throughout the interaction? What's the next step? What do I want to work on the next time I go up and approach? And then you're constantly breaking them down.
Yeah, yeah. Would you say that there are certain cities where it's just all night game and no day game
Mm,
sort of thing? Because I found that quite a lot, with traveling. It's like
mm,
certain places you just can't do day game or you just can't do night game. Like in Poland, for example, in Krakow, it's all day game. There's no
really?
nightlife. It's really bad. But if you go out, it's all low quality girls.
Mm,
All the high quality girls don't go out. Like they never go out.
hmm.
So you're gonna have to understand each city and break it down a little bit.
That's a good point.
That's why I would say like you have to have it all for sure. Like in
Mm,
Medellin, it's everything.
yeah,
Everything is good.
right. Oh,
So it
yeah.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
That makes me think of
Doesn't matter where you are.
I was in Zonti in Greece, and
Hmm.
what I found was that during the day, you never see like an attractive girl. It's a beautiful place, great beaches, but yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know where they're hiding during the daytime. But then there's this
Is that
one.
because it's too hot?
It
It's
wasn't
very
really
hot there.
hot. Well,
No?
I went in September, so
Right.
it was a little cooler, but
Yeah.
I think I just missed the wave. Yeah, because they were telling me it's like August is like the wave of tourists and stuff. But then I found there was this one nightclub that you'd go in you'd see all these hot girls there, and it's like I don't know where the fuck they were during the daytime, because you'd be out walking on the beach, you wouldn't
Yeah,
see a soul in sight.
bro, this was the same experience I had in a small little town called Košice in Slovakia.
Hmm.
Well, we went there and we're hanging around during the day, and it's like kind of dead. We're like, bro, this would be boring as fuck, and I'm dead with my body. And then we find, bro, they have one nightclub in the whole, town, this
Oh yeah,
village.
yeah.
Bro, we go in there and it's like, what the fuck? Like about probably 200, like just the most beautiful women you've ever seen. It's crazy. And you go in there and it's like the ratio was just like crazy, bro. It was like maybe 70% girls, 30% men. It was
Hmm.
ridiculous. And they're all just in that one nightclub. And by the way, it's only open on Saturday night where it's actually busy. The rest of the week is completely dead. No girl goes out, nothing. So you have one day out of the whole week to fucking game and just, meet
Hmm.
chicks. It's fucking insane. It's
That's a great
insane.
point with the ratio. Place yourself in environments where the ratio is going to
Ah,
be in your favor.
yeah. See, a lot of guys can't do that. But this is the thing. It's like I say, if you are very serious about this, you're gonna have to travel a little bit. You're gonna
Hmm.
have to travel. You can't really get yourself to the next stage in the game if you're not willing to fucking travel. You're not gonna be
Hmm.
able to do it because you simply won't have the fucking chicks there. So how are you gonna do it?
Yeah,
How?
the cheeks there, and then the lifestyle experiences too. Like the amount of
Yeah.
times that I'm out with my friend and I go up to a girl and I say, "What's your background? You're Italian, aren't you?" And then she'll, "Yeah, yeah, I am. How did you know?" "Oh, me and my buddy were just talking about how we want to go back to Milan because we were just there." "Oh yeah, I love Milan." And then you can talk and relate to each other, because if you've never traveled,
100%.
you don't really know anything outside of, well, you don't have the firsthand experience outside of Canada, USA, whatever.
That is so key. That is so key, bro. And that's attractive, isn't it? Like that's
Mhm.
attractive in girls. They're like, oh wow, he's traveled, he's taking some risks.
Yes.
Have you lost any girls from the game, like due to you going out and picking up chicks?
Mm, yes, I have, but it was for the better. Like I broke up with a, it's not even broke up with, right? Like I was just with a girl, we were kind of dating and I guess seeing each other in the normal person terms. But she
Mhm.
wanted a relationship. She kept pressuring me, and I told her that I wasn't ready, and she didn't really sell me on the relationship. And then I just thought, like, okay, well, it was taken away. She was adding stress as opposed to adding peace. So it sucked. I just say, like, hey, you know what? We're we're just not aligned, right? We're gonna have to go our own separate ways. And it sucked at first, but then it's like, okay, well, now I can get even more uncomfortable, because the thing is like, comfort is where dreams go to die. And even though we weren't in a relationship together, I was finding, and I was spending maybe 3 hours a week with her, texting. And she was saying too, she's like, oh, well, I require more emotional investment in between times of us hanging out. And it just required too much of my time when I'm trying to build a business and do all these things. So it was taking away from my purpose and me doing my thing. So it had to stop. Right. And even with
Yeah,
that, even with the times I was hanging out with her, I wasn't putting myself out there as much. I wasn't going up and talking to girls and and putting it on the line and doing it as much as I would have been if she wasn't there, because that was a source of comfort right there. Right. So that had to go. And then now it's like I'm back to full throttle, putting myself out there, doing the cold approach, talking to girls about my day, because she's not there anymore.
it's funny if you just stick with it and you just continue on. You don't get hung up on the goal.
Hmm.
How much more you'll fucking succeed. Like I remember this one girl left because she got pissed off because like I made a video with some other chick on YouTube
Mm,
and she was like, "Oh my god," da 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 da, and then
yeah.
she left.
So do you tell
Anyway,
girls when you meet them what you do? Like, how do you what do you say you do for work?
I just say I'm a vlogger. Like I'm not gonna stop the whole business for one goal. Like if she doesn't support me in that journey, then it's just not gonna work. And
Hmm.
it's very, very simple. I think a lot of guys they get too hung up on that. Like they find the perfect 10 and they're like, okay, now I stop everything. It's like, no, 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 no. You have to continue going. The train needs to be moving.
Yes, exactly. And that's one of the biggest problems in relationships. And I've seen it time and time again. I've known guys that literally could be like Chris Bumstead, they could be Jay Cutler. They're jacked, they're monsters walking around, and they get in relationships, and then they end up gaining 50 pounds, and then they go, why do you go to the gym so much? And they start losing themselves in the relationship, and the girl takes away from them, right? They don't add, like, the way I see it is a girl, like, if you're going to get in a relationship with a girl, she's got to sell you on the relationship. She's got to support what you do and inspire you to do that thing, right? Not take away, not request more of your time, but make your life easier, right? And there's
100%.
there's no point in committing to a girl if she's going to just take from you.
Yeah. What's your opinion on social circle game, like having female friends, that kind of stuff?
It's interesting because I see like pre-selection is so important, right? But also your time is as well. And I think a lot of people get confused about what a friend is and what an acquaintance is, right?
Yeah.
So female acquaintances, sure, but I'm not going and hanging out with girls, and we're not doing each other's hair and watching
I love
UFC
that.
together.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. That is so spot on. It's like I had a female acquaintance, let's just say, in Australia when I was in Gold Coast, and yeah, man, like with her, it was so easy. She would get me laid the most. My best wingman.
and so the dynamic between you guys, like, were you guys hooking up, or were you just strictly like acquaintances?
Oh, no. We never hooked up. No,
Oh,
we never
okay.
hooked up. She was an attractive girl, though. She was a very attractive girl. But we just lived together and stuff. And yeah, it was like, bro, she would invite me to different parties and stuff. And then I'll bring girls over, and then she would greet them at the actual house. So she'd be in the kitchen or something, greet them straight away. Like, the girl is way more comfortable, like way more comfortable. And it's just some questions like, so who is this girl? Is she, your girlfriend or something? I'm like, no. That can work a lot, but you won't see me hanging out with chicks, like, and rolling with chicks and like on the street and stuff and letting my friends fuck them. It's just like a bit weird. Like, there are guys out there that do that. They have a lot of female friends, and nah, that's not something I'm interested in.
I see some of these girls with these guys, and they're walking around with like 14 girls, and it's just them, and they're going to these clubs. And then also dealing with the emotions, with the time and energy, like surrounding yourself by that many girls, it sounds exhausting to me. Like, one time walking around in an army of 14 girls going to a club, and yes, going to a club or a bar with a girl is like someone shining a flashlight on you, right? Walking around, the girls get curious because the pre-selection, they're like, okay, well, he obviously is doing something to attract that girl. They're hanging out for a reason. I wonder what he's got, right? And it gets them curious.
The pre-selection is key, man. It's like nothing works better than that. Like, if you just want to get instant results, just literally go out to a club with a girl, and oh my god, bro, you will get a lot more looks than you will if you just go alone or with your friends. Yeah,
100%.
When I go out to clubs, especially in Colombia, like, I like to go out with girls, and I want to make the videos, because if you go alone, it's not bad as well. Like, I do it sometimes to show guys how to do it and stuff or whatever, just for the content. But it's way better to go with girls. Way better. You get treated better. More girls are looking your way.
It is, yeah. For your stuff, do you coach guys in person? Do you coach them online? Like, how does your system work?
So I do online coaching, one-on-one coaching. Yeah.
What do you notice some of the patterns or some of the biggest mistakes that guys make are in terms of approaching?
Oh, bro, like this one guy I had from Australia, actually, literally just like boring conversations, like super boring, like very plain and just very friendly. Like, hey, how's it going? How's the weather in this city? Oh, I've been there. It's like no spark.
I found you can really divide it into three problems, right? One is the guy that was in a long-term relationship or married, and he's just kind of getting back in the swing of things and has no idea where to start. Two is the guy that's kind of socially awkward, has a lot of social anxiety, doesn't really start conversations with girls, kind of even when we're talking together, he's kind of looking around like this, and he's just very in his head. And the third is the social guy who can go up and talk to people, no problem, but that's the biggest problem is he'll go up and he'll talk to a girl, and maybe initially she's like this, but a minute in she's like texting, because he'll ask, like, and it's usually the same 4 questions, like, oh, are you in school? Oh, do you like your class? Oh, what's your teacher like? Oh, how many days a week are you in school? And then and the girl,
you like it here?
Yeah, do you like it here? And then yeah, she's tuning out, and they just have trouble taking a risk.
I had this one guy that is a good-looking guy. He's like 6'1", 6'2", and he only gets laid with girls that approach him. Fucking never approaches, bro. Never approaches. And he's a good looking guy, very confident, super confident.
Yeah.
Never approaches. He's so scared of getting rejected. Can't do
Ooh.
it. Too much
And I'm
ego.
and so the girls that approaches him, I wonder if those are the kind of girls that he wants, or if
No,
it's
they're
just
not. They're not. He told me
mm,
that. Yeah. Yeah, they're not. But he's too like too much in his ego to even take advice or actually, go out there because he knows if he gets rejected, that's
yeah,
gonna, stay in his head for like a long time and he won't be able to fucking cope with that.
exactly. And there's this online. Me and my buddy were talking about this, where there's content creators that say like, oh yeah, all you have to do is focus on yourself, right? Chase the money,
Uh-huh.
get jacked, and the
Yeah.
women will just come to you. And the problem is a lot of these
Like
guys
the
are,
red pill content, right?
yeah, so like a lot of that red pill content. Yeah. So it's essentially like, okay, just put in the work and the women will come to you. And then these guys are making 6, 7 figures. They look like fitness models and they put in a lot of work in themselves and they're frustrated because they're walking around, they're driving around in their Lamborghinis and their suits. And where are the women?
Nothing's happening.
Why aren't they chasing me down the street here? Like, what's going on? I was lied to.
Man, I'm sure you get a lot of clients that have a lot of money and they still have no game. They still
Yep.
struggle with women. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And they think that, oh yeah, just make the money and sure. Like I'm not telling you can't get girls with money. You can, but you're going to attract the wrong type of girl. She's going to take you
Yeah.
for a ride, and you can't really blame her because you're if you're taking a girl on like a date to friggin' a 5-star restaurant, wherever you are, Michelin star restaurant on the first date, it's like you're setting that tone. You're saying, I don't think I'm good enough, so I need to win you over with my money with something else here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, if you're going to set that frame, that girl is going to be led by that frame. And you can't really blame her for wanting to take you for a ride.
Of course. I think money is a good tool to be used, but you can't just rely on money. So if you actually have good game and you have some money, okay, cool. Now you can go on the trip somewhere with the chick. Now
Yes.
you can show her a little bit more. Like, now you can save your time and not need to do certain things because you have money. So you can give her a better experience per se,
Mm,
and she'll be attracted. But that's if you know how to use that money. Because most of the guys don't know how to use it, so they get used by the women, and they literally just
exactly.
fucking extract their fucking resources.
And you know
You know,
there's a good point about that too, because it's more the picture you're painting in the girl's mind, right? Because if a girl asks, oh, what do you do for work? And then the guy says, oh, I'm in IT or I'm in software sales, right? Like those guys are making
Mm.
pretty good money, like 150 US, maybe even
Yeah,
200K sometimes. But if a guy tells a girl that he's a firefighter, right? And he's probably making, I don't know, 70, 80K. I don't know how much firefighters make, something around there, but it is less than that, right? Like what lifestyle do you think makes that person look more appealing? Right? Oh, I
of
work in
course.
software
Yeah.
sales, or oh, I'm a firefighter. I'm saving people from dragging people out of burning buildings.
Yeah.
One thing real quick is me and my buddy were talking about this, and I was talking to this guy prospect on the phone, and he was telling me that he went on a date with this girl, and this guy was like, what was he doing? He was like a banker, head of, I can't remember what it was. Anyways, or no, he was an accountant. He was an accountant, and he was talking about his accounting firm the whole date, and he's just talking about like this guy at work and this guy, and like I really have to send out reports here and there, and
Boring. Yeah.
like what she didn't. And the problem is he didn't ask her one question about her on that date. He just talked about himself the whole time, and he's trying to like win her over and trying to impress. And it's just like, no, like, cool, you make a lot of money, but
He's reacting to her, he's reacting to her and he's in her frame basically. And he's trying to fucking impress.
yes,
And that's what I'm talking about. It's like if you're trying to fucking impress and trick women straight away, they can sense that shit.
yeah. And here's an interesting. So next time you're at a restaurant or a cafe, you see a guy and a girl on a date, right? You don't even have to hear what they're saying. Look at the body language, right? A lot of times you'll see the guy leaning forward like this, and the girl is the one like sitting back, right? So you want the opposite of that. You want to be the one sitting back like this, and you want to have the girl like kind of leaning in, right?
We can end it with looks. Do you think looks matter in game?
I think they do, and I think a lot of guys aren't even really trying, right? Like
Yeah.
you can only focus on what's in your control, or you should only be focusing on what's in your control. And a lot of guys will say like, oh yeah, like I'm just not good looking enough, but they're not even trying, right? Get a haircut that suits your face shape, have a little facial hair. A lot of guys look a little better with facial hair, get a bit of a tan, whiten your teeth, get down to 16% body fat minimum, right? So you can see that jawline,
Yeah.
develop a little style, and then talk, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these guys aren't trying. And yes, looks do matter a little bit, but not nearly as much as guys think that they do.
100%. And it's just so easy to like get this stuff in check. It doesn't require that much time to go and get your fucking teeth done, okay? To get a nice haircut, to have a skincare routine. And that's all you have to do. And go to the gym, get
Yes.
jacked. And
Yeah.
it's not going to help you tremendously with game, but it's more for you as well. It's like
Yeah.
the whole thing with getting jacked and getting women, it does help, but you still need game. You really do need game because I had that, bro. Like I had a very good physique at 20 years old, and I only started to get girls when I started fucking approaching them, when I actually started
Mm,
speaking to them. They didn't just come to me.
no.
Okay. Like maybe if you're 6'7" and you're a fucking celebrity and you have everything going for yourself, then you will get girls. But most guys will not be able to do that.
You know what the funny thing about that is a lot of girls are approaching guys, and guys don't even realize it, but they're approaching them in their way, right? So they'll go up and they'll kind of place themselves in the guy's vicinity.
Yeah.
They're at the gym and they're working out next to him.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
in her
The
mind,
whole eye contact.
yes, in her mind, well, I approached him first, but he didn't really do anything. And in his mind, like, she didn't approach me, right? Because how many, like, have you ever been approached in the daytime and a girl just came up to you and thought, hey, I thought, and a girl just came right up to you and said, hey, I thought you were really cute. What's your name?
I've had it a few times, yeah, but I don't get it like every single day. There was this one guy on Instagram, King something, is a black guy. He's like 6'9" or six
Holy
foot
shit.
seven,
Yeah.
and all he does is he just films content of chicks approaching him, right? That will happen if you're a good-looking guy, in shape, have a lot of money, have status, and you're famous. But what can you learn from that? Absolutely nothing.
Mhm.
It's like you can't make yourself be 6'9",
Yeah.
so you're gonna have to fucking approach.
Yeah, you have to
Like
deal
you're
with
gonna
the
have
cards
to
that you
go and
dealt.
do it. How does that help you?
Yeah.
Zero. Like why focus on it so much? So for me, it's like, bro, improve your looks the best way you can, and then just run with it.
Mm.
Don't be like, oh my god, I need to have this eyebrow here, because otherwise I can't approach. Bro, just improve your looks, and that's it. Just go with it.
Yeah. And guys,
Yeah.
they're very, like, a lot of times one track minded, and they'll just focus on one thing, right? Like, oh, I need to get in shape, so I'm not going to approach girls until I have a six pack, until I look like Christian Bale in American Psycho.
Bullshit.
And it's like, no, approach while you're going to the gym, because every single time that a girl walks right by you and you don't do shit about it, you are subconsciously telling yourself that you're not good enough yet, and it's only going to make it harder.
And one thing I'm gonna say as well is that obsessing over your looks too much, where you're taking it to the next level, is a very feminine trait as well. So I think that's pretty much it, man. All right, where can people find you? How can they get in contact?
Just approach one on Instagram, and then just approach on YouTube. I do have a TikTok, but I can only focus on two.
Yeah.
So I just approach on TikTok as well too, but I'm just really active on Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. Good chatting to you, bro.
Yeah, you too.